Buddha's father is visited by an angel who tells him that his son is going to grow up to be the greatest temporal, profane ruler the world has ever seen, or a great spiritual leader. And his father, being a pragmatic and conservative man, decides that there's no possible way I'm going to allow my son to take the ambivalent road of spiritual enlightenment. I'm going to allow him to fall completely in love with the world so that he will remain attached to his domain. So, prior to Buddha's birth, his father constructs a great city with walls around it. And inside that city, he removes all signs of pain, frustration, and disappointment, any sign of ugliness and age. The only people that are allowed to exist within this city are those who are in perfect mental and physical health, who are paragons of beauty and virtue. And the idea that lurks behind that archetypal story is that when a father has a child, his moral obligation is to shield the developing consciousness of that child from contact with any of the horrors of life that could provide the child with an experience too traumatic for that developing consciousness to apprehend. So, because it's an archetypal story, it relates to the development of all people, not just the redemptive savior. And that's the motif that the Buddhist story initially follows. A good father makes his child fall in love with life by enticing that child into a direct relationship with all that life has to offer. So Buddha grows up within this walled garden, this unself-conscious paradise. But precisely because he's been shielded to this degree and allowed to mature, his consciousness continues to expand, and the world outside the boundaries that his parents have established for him starts to attract his attention. Now, we know already that the forbidden fruit, right, the lure of what's outside the walls, is something that human beings just can't keep their mangy little paws off, right? We are absolutely, uncontrollably curious, and the best way to make sure that we investigate something is to lay down a stricture that says, whatever you do, under whatever circumstances, never look there, right? And then the automatic systems that underlie our orienting and that motivate our seeking experience are constantly pulling our attention precisely to that forbidden spot, compelling us to investigate exactly that which has been forbidden. So, because Buddha is a consciousness developing in a healthy manner, he immediately becomes curious about what lies beyond the limits that have been established with him, and he makes a decision to go outside of paradise. Right, which seems a particularly ridiculous thing to do, given that in principle he has everything he could possibly want inside the walls. But then again, we have the troublesome notion of the original sin of Adam, right, which is that if any of you were offered a forbidden fruit, again under circumstances mythologically equivalent to those that obtained in the beginning, you'd immediately reach your hand out and take it, because what we haven't got for human beings is always far more compelling than what we have got.